Yeah,
to
he up
come
there
at
with
out
young
with
Chris.
that. Watch him out.
Yeah.
But I don't want to touch on. I don't want to talk about that bullshit. Well, since
Young Chris,
you didn't
young Chris and Black Thought.
since you didn't
Yep.
said it, go ahead, G. Since you didn't said the shit, go ahead, get it out.
I mean, that's Beanie's top 5. Big, some other names, and young Chris and Black Thought.
And Black Thought.
Big J, it was Big J. Who's the third?
I can't remember who the third was. I know it was Big J, Young Chris, Black Thought. I can't remember the third.
That's
Beanie
Beanie's
high as fuck.
top
Beanie
5.
high.
I even get Black Thought because he's from Philly. So it's like when you look at like a legendary Philly rapper, like Black Thought is that guy. But
I mean, I guess.
Young Chris,
top 5 though.
like all time or his favorites. I mean, I like Young Chris, but
not that much, bro.
Yeah,
not that much at all.
How do y'all feel about, like, even different question, but how do y'all feel about, like, every city they got the hometown underground that probably could have been what the people who made it in the industry were?
Yeah,
this I wish Bashir and Vel was on for this one because they talk about Detroit rappers every day. Don't ask me. Don't Blade Icewood. Like,
how did that come up? Oh God!
For some reason, I mean, they like Detroit rapper. They like the Detroit flow because when you look at a lot of underground Detroit rappers, they all sound like they all got the same flow as T Grizzly.
Okay.
Like
that. All right.
Well, I like T Grizzly. I don't like his flow.
Right.
Right.
I'm not a fan. Like, but when you look at it, like they all rap like that, and then if you keep listening to it, you end up like, because they will send songs in the group chat every day.
Nah, I'm good on that.
I don't know what beat he be rapping on.
Not the beat of the song, that's for sure.
That's they
that
style.
Shit don't flow at all. I'd be like,
and then you find out like that's an underground style of Detroit that's been out for like years.
That's why it's underground. It needs to stay there.
Even though I will say I like Dex Osama, even though he dead. So
what's your where were you going with that, G?
No, I was trying to see how many like underground people, like Young Chris to me is a joke, but like how many underground guys would you really put toe to toe in like a, his spot, like his it just wasn't his time, but he should have been there. Like, I don't want to say an underground top 5 because that's whatever, but like how many of them guys you think could legitimately have been something, you know what I mean?
People talk about Big L from New York. That's a big one. That's probably the biggest one that I hear about. Although, I wonder if he was just a symptom of the era. We didn't hear enough of him to know, could he have switched up the flow? Like, that to me is the quintessential lasting effect. Can you switch up the style as music shifts to have been a legendary voice? Like, Bust is a great example of this. Dude, he has a unique style. Yeah, there you go.
Like, AZ was one, I think that Cormega was. I just saw him on the Nori podcast. Cormega was another one that people really liked. Yeah,
I think they had a chance. I mean, they better than Nas.
Queensbridge.
I'd rather hear them than Nas.
I wouldn't go that far. I will say this though: it was a point where people liked AZ more, like in the early '90s, mid '90s. Like, people liked AZ more than they liked Nas.
Yes, there was a time.
It's a lot of stories, like, especially with like the older cats. It's a lot of stories where it's like this dude just happened to get on the wrong management team.
Yeah,
it's literally that simple. It's not like anybody was better than him. It's just like, I signed with Jive, you signed with Def Jam.
I think realistically, in terms of like, I mean, I guess nationwide, there's not more than like 10 or 15 guys that would have been in that top 100 category, realistically. I don't think there's more than 10 or 15. And that may be actually kind of high. Maybe like 10. Because, like, again, a lot of guys that are hot are going to come out, have a fire album, and then you'll never hear from them again. Like, that happens in rap all the time. Guys come out. I mean, think about guys that just dropped 10 years ago. Go back 10 years ago from now. You could probably name 10 rappers that you haven't heard shit from since. So when you're talking about like greatest of all time, GOAT level people, there's a reason that the GOATs are the GOAT, right? You got to assume that most people aren't going to be that. Just they not. I think Big L, Cormega, obviously New York bias. I think they had a chance.
I think Beans was on a trajectory. He could have.
Beans had a chance.
I don't think so at all.
Bully
rap.
Yeah,
I think Beans.
I think like Philly is Philly is a lot like Philly's like Baltimore to me, in a sense that you could be popping and everybody gonna love you, but that shit don't travel outside of Baltimore and Philly. It doesn't. It's not gonna track like New York rap tracks everywhere. You know what I mean? Like West Coast rap tracks everywhere. Shit, even now, like Florida rap for some odd reason, and like down south rap is starting to track everywhere because of guys like T.I. and like you talked earlier about Jeezy and some of them dudes. It tracks. For some reason, the Philly and the Baltimore like of the world, it doesn't track. You'll be a monster in your city, but I don't think you're gonna be top 5 off of just a Philly vibe. If you can't get beyond that shit, I don't see it. No hate on Philly or Baltimore. I just don't see it.
I think if Rockefeller stayed together, I think Beanie would have been pretty big. But I mean, he was big at the time. I mean, it wasn't like his album wasn't selling.
But even now, like if he just stayed with him, the whole shit was like he had a riff with Jay. How you gonna be on a trajectory to be with like you gotta be on that Kanye, like, all right, difference of opinion, but if I'm gonna grow how you growing, I gotta be of a like mind. Beans about being Philly. He not on that shit. Clearly is why he ain't with him now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, when Rockefeller broke up, a lot of people went with Dame. Why? I don't know.
But again, you know what? The GOATs don't go with Dame when he leaves Jay-Z. You just gotta understand your lane.
You gotta be your own boss, man.
But you gotta know who boss you can't go mess with.
I know.
Dame, not at that time.
I think they went with Dame because Dame was literally just giving them. Like Dame was a guy that would just give them money, take care of all the expenses, all that stuff, and it just Jay wasn't doing any of that. I think, and the crazy thing is, it's almost like Kanye was the only one that was like, "Yeah, I'm going with Jay."
I mean, you look at who Jay touched. You look at who pause. You look at who Dame had. Who fared better? You know, I'm just saying.
But
like,
okay, but at the same time, a lot of those opportunities were because of Dame, and Jay will admit it. Maybe he won't. But a lot of the opportunities that Jay got was because of Dame. A lot of the opportunities that those people that went with Jay got was because of Dame.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, and Jay would say, like, he probably couldn't have done what he did without Dame, even though he's been away from Dame way longer than he was with him, and he's gotten way bigger since Dame.
But that don't mean nothing though, because like the getting to where he was already established was, I'm not gonna give Dame all the credit. It was a him and Dame thing, right?
Yeah.
Now that you're established, it's easy to say that I could do everything now without him because he already took the beating for me. It's like your man, like you got a problem with somebody, and you bring your cousin to get beat up. You get your stuff back. You know what I mean?
But I think that's the point, though. When they broke up, you already were established. It wasn't like you still – clearly, he didn't still need Dame at that point. And so if you Beans –
because I thought –
I'm going to need a feature from Jay before I'm going to need a handoff from Dame.
Right.
100%.
I thought Beanie Siegel's best album came after they split and he went with Dame. With the Feel It in the Air was the single for that album.
That album was fire. That was a good
right.
album.
I think that was his best album.
That was a good
But
album. And he went to
you
jail.
can imagine how
If he
big
went,
that album.
he went to jail promptly after that shit.
Right. But the thing is, I think if he had that album and he was with Jay, that album is probably bigger than what it is. Like people actually,
that album ain't coming out if he with Jay.
Now
I don't know about that.
Now you're being a hater. Now you're being a hater. Now you're being a hater.
Again, Sunset.
I don't think that's true. I think you look at I think what Jay did was smart. He took the best asset available. He said, have all these other bums, give me Kanye, which was the right decision. You can take young Chris and Neef. You can take the greatest rappers of all time. I'll just settle for Kanye. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, if Dame should have been able to do it again if he was that major part. He played that major of a role. I mean, you could argue that the time wasn't right after, you know what I mean? He already had done enough damage where nobody was messing with him, but
I think that's what it was. And I think, again, Jay-Z's probably a fucking asshole. 100%. Because they used to talk about, like, you hear Dame talk about the breakup. He was like, dude, he was doing it. He was at Cousin getting beat up in the boardroom, fighting for this, fighting for that. And Jay on the golf course, like, yo, we chopping it up. You know what I mean? And Dame's like, bro, like, I hate these dudes. We cursing and fighting and shit. You out there having fun with them. He picked a smarter path to continue to have the access, the money, and now you're a billionaire.
But I think Jay, when you look at those old videos of Dame and who he was yelling at, like those are all the top guys at all the labels now. They were just on the come up, and I think Jay was smart enough to know, like, you know what?
Don't piss them off.
Right.
Because I'm going to need them at some point.
Right. These are the guys.
Gotta get all my masters back? Yeah. Let me make sure I call them some fucking favors. Get all my shit back. Yeah. Okay. Kanye, man, his masters still ain't back home. Because that's what happens. This is what fucking happens. All I'm saying is, in terms of like the GOAT, maybe Beans would have been, but he made a non-GOAT decision when he decided to go with Dame.
I'm with 60% of Dame's energy.
I mean, fair.
Fair. Like I get Dame. Like and the thing is, I don't think the stuff Dame was yelling at them about was wrong.
No,
it's just the fact that you're yelling at them,
and they gonna have a grudge about it later. And the industry seems to work on favor for a favor.
You're coming in there with big jean shorts, a big T-shirt, socks up to your knees, Air Force Ones.
That 90s energy, that big jean shorts.
And you're yelling, and you're yelling at me.
With the fitted.
With the big fitted and the Rockefeller chain.
And the throwback jersey.
Yeah.
Why he gotta conform?
You ain't got to, but you ain't got. Don't come here looking like that and yelling at me either. Like, don't. I'm supposed to take you serious right now.
What percentage of your life are you allowed to be yourself, man? Come on.
No, he can be himself. But you say we're making business decisions. You talking about the business decisions with your T-shirt to your thighs.
They don't understand our culture.
You know, fashion.
Which is stuff he was arguing about.
They don't understand our culture.
Shit.
This what's selling.
They don't.
This is what make us the most money.
This was the original Nerds versus Streets.
Yes, you see how it ended. You see, the Streets took an L. Like, that's what it is. Nerds is just like, he yelled at us when we were coming up, man. Fuck him. Oh, hey, Jay.
Right. Like,
oh, hello, Jay.
Remember that day at the office, Dame? Click.
That's exactly what happened. That's why he on the outside looking in now. That's exactly how it went down. They answering Jay phone calls. Shit, Blue Ivy can call the motherfuckers up. Oh, hey, Blue, what's going on?
Right.
Dame can't get a goddamn email through because he fucked up.
Goes right to the spam box.
He's a rock star now. He ain't worried about them.
Yeah, okay. So to your original point, there's a few that could have been big. It wasn't going to be Beans. Sorry. I don't think that was going to happen.
We don't know. Cassidy.
We'll never know now. Bars.
Bars is back.
No Cassidy.
I might have to change my top 5.
Don't
Yo,
play
Cass
with me.
in there.
Ass in there.
Come on, man. What is that album? Bars? If they got out of jail? Come on, man.
Barry Adrian Reese.
That was
I'm in the zone all by myself.
that was an awful album.
What was the album where he battled himself in the intro?
The Hustler
Might have been that
album.
one. No,
The Hustler album. That wasn't a bad album. It just, I don't know.
What was it? The Hustler versus the who?
The Problem.
Yeah.
leave my man Cass alone.
It wasn't even clever. Like you said, the thing, the Hustler versus the Problem. Like what? Couldn't have been the Hustler versus the Businessman.
No,
Gangster and a Gentleman like Styles P. He couldn't even do that. It's like Hustler versus
no, he
the
couldn't
Problem.
do that. He
Which
did
is
what he
which?
could do. He was both.
Cass, my guy, and Drag On, he could have been great too.
Okay, so on to NBA news because I'm not doing this shit with you about fucking Dragon. Still dropping freestyles on
These bars.
Probably spitting freestyles on MySpace. Get the fuck out of here. We're not doing this.